Your cell phone could be causing your sciatica. Dr. Nicholas Mercer with uImproved PT. As I've said in a previous video, there's a lot of different things that can cause sciatica. One recent kind of condition that people are getting is what we now call cell phone sciatica. In this day and age, we all basically have cell phones, or we carry around a wallet, or we have to carry around something usually in our pockets. What happens when we put a cell phone or a wallet or some other object in one of our back pockets, it throws off how your hips are situated when you're sitting. In addition, since we're all sitting a little more, this makes it even worse because we are taking that offset position in the pelvis for longer times than we have in the past. So in this video, I'm going to show you how this cell phone sciatica occurs, why it happens, and what we can do to eliminate this condition that seems to be literally a pain in the butt. So for reference, I'm using my wallet here. It's not very big. There's not much in it. I went to graduate school. I have a lot of student loan debt, so there's not much in here, but it doesn't take much to throw off the level of your hips. So we have our cell phone or our wallet, and we're putting it in our back pocket right here. And then we're gonna go sit down for hours and hours. I can already feel how much pressure that little tiny wallet is putting through my right side here. And the reason this is significant is if we look again, that sciatic nerve is going to come out the back, straight down through that piriformis muscle or under the piriformis. It's a little different in everyone, but right where that wallet is, right where I'm putting a lot of that pressure, that's where that sciatic nerve is going to go through. And nerves are very, very sensitive to pressure. So you can see why if we put a lot of pressure onto one side of our hips. So you have your whole body weight and you're supposed to be sitting level, right? So half your body weight on the right side, half the body weight on the left side. This little elevation causes a lot more of that weight to go through one side and puts extra pressure on the nerve. Another thing about nerves, they don't heal very fast. It takes them, they're probably one of the slowest healing tissues in the human body. Now, we're simply putting pressure on it, so if you're just feeling this for the first time, you probably stood up, moved around, it went away, and then you went to sit back down. But this adds up over time. If we continue doing it over and over every day for hours and hours, we can actually get some long-term damage to that nerve. So that's kind of a direct way that this cell phone sciatica can occur. You sit down, you get extra pressure on one hip that pushes on the sciatic nerve, and you get these symptoms radiating down your leg. However, it doesn't stop there. The body adapts to what we do consistently. And so if we are sitting with our hips a little bit like that for hours and hours on end, we are going to get used to that. And when we stand up, we are going to be off in the hips. And then you might want to go for a long walk. You might want to go to some theme parks. You might want to go grocery shopping. So we are constantly in this uneven position in the pelvis, taking thousands and thousands of repetitions, putting more stress on one side than the other. The lumbar spine likes to be as symmetrical as possible. If we throw hips being off, that lumbar spine is going to have to turn or side bend to compensate for that as we're walking. We're going to get a lot of stress on the lower back and in the hips, especially the SI joint. And when you're walking for a long period of time, this, even if it's just a little bit of a lateral pelvic tilt, thousands and thousands of repetitions, like I said, this adds up over time. And we can even start to develop lower back pain, SI joint pain, like I said before, but even sciatica symptoms from the lower back instead of the hip. There's several different places the sciatic nerve can get damage or extra pressure on it, and we need to make sure that we're not putting undue stress on that nerve. So in the short term, the cell phone sciatica is more caused by the actual pressure on the sciatic nerve. But in the long term, if we continue doing this, we can get sciatica that is actually coming from the lower back because the hip position is off. What are some of the solutions we can do in order to, number one, prevent cell phone sciatica, and number two, reverse it a little bit? Well, obviously the first step, stop putting stuff in your back pocket, especially when you're sitting. Be very mindful of your symmetry throughout the day. And if you do have something in your back pocket and you notice that, don't just sit down and assume it's not going to do much. Stand up, take it out, put it in your front pocket, put it on the desk, put it somewhere where it's not going to be causing that pressure on the sciatic nerve or the pelvic tilting. Now, what do we do if we already have that lateral pelvic tilt? We're a little too far gone. We can't just fix it by taking the wallet or the cell phone out of the back pocket and calling it a day. Well, the most important thing we want to start with is mindfulness. When we do have that lateral pelvic tilt, you may notice that even after you take the cell phone or the wallet out of your pocket, you still tend to lean to one side. So a mirror is a good thing to use if you want to kind of see if you're leaning to one side more than the other. But overall, be very mindful, even maybe close your eyes and really focus on how much pressure are you putting through each hip. Is there one hip that is a little, feels like it's getting a little more pressure through it? If so, see if you can shift your weight to the other side, right? And so we really want to practice being able to shift the weight from one side to the other without having very drastic torso movements, right? So we want to be able to shift, practicing that, and then as you're shifting, make those shifts a little less until you feel like you're evened out on both sides. So that pressure through both legs is evened out. Now, if even just the mindfulness of that weight shift in the pelvis isn't quite getting you to neutral, you can try to use kind of a seated shotgun method. So the shotgun method is something that we use in the PT world in order to help correct a lateral pelvic tilt, or if one innominate or pelvic bone is shifted a little forward or sideways, we can use this to help reset it into a more symmetrical position. More symmetrical being, we always want to move towards symmetry, knowing that we will probably never be perfectly symmetrical. And that's okay. We want to be as symmetrical as possible. Easy way to do this if you're sitting, obviously make sure you're not having anything in your back pocket. And then one leg is going to push the heel down, right? So for my left leg, I'm pushing my heel into the floor and my butt is squeezing. And while you're doing that, you're going to push up into your other hand. And you should feel the hip flexors on that side. So we're pushing down, pushing up, holding 1, 2, 3, and then switch. So now this leg is going to push down. This side is going to push up. 1, 2, 3, and then switch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so similar to when we were shifting the weight and trying to find neutral, here we're using the muscles to try to get that joint into a more neutral position and evening out the tension, the control of both of the hips. So ultimately, we want to move towards symmetry. We may not get there, but we need to get as close as possible to decrease some of these sciatic symptoms, whether it is coming directly from pressure on the sciatic nerve, from the cell phone, from the wallet in the back pocket, or if it's a long-term issue where we have been doing that for way too long and now we have a pelvic shift. Do some of those techniques and see if they help you out. Remember, this is not going to be fixed overnight. This is something that has developed over potentially many, many years, and so it's going to take some time to get back. But every day, trying to force yourself back to symmetry will help you decrease some of these sciatica symptoms. So please like, comment, subscribe to uImproved PT's YouTube channel. We are constantly uploading videos, 3 a week on various different conditions, but really recently focusing on back pain and sciatica. Although we do have shoulder, knee pain, a lot of different body parts that get a lot of pain. You can find those playlists on our channel as well. Links to all of our social media and other things are in the description below via our link tree. Visit uimprovedpt.com in order to get some more free information on ending back pain, sciatica, hip pain, all these different types of pains that you may be experiencing. And check out our programs on ending various different types of pain. Back pain and sciatica should be coming out soon, and we are going to be making more programs on ending pain, which is complete solutions to your problems so that you can take your body into your own hands, take control of your movement and your overall health, and decrease the pain that you're having so you can move more, painless.